Hey folks, today we got a new patch for EU5. This is patch 1.0.7. This is going to be a smaller patch compared to the more recent ones. Hopefully that means it's a little bit more stable as well. And in today's video, we're going to go through those changes. Some of them are related to changes they discussed in yesterday's dev diary. So I covered those in that video yesterday if you are interested. But we will go through these changes. As always, hit the like button if you enjoy this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I cover all the news around EU5 and Crusader Kings 3 as well. So as they start here, these are the gameplay changes in today's patch. The first sections are around economy, and they further revised the population demands to balance the state economies. They don't go into any more information around this. I think this may be around what they said yesterday, where certain estates were asking for things like rice, which they wouldn't naturally ask for in the game. It looks like they've changed that. Outside of that, maybe they've balanced how much money they make, how trade works for some of them. Unfortunately, as I say, no more information about what they've actually changed here. So do let me know if you're playing the game today. If you're playing on this patch, do let me know if you're seeing any weirdness around this. As we've seen with the recent patches, some of these economy changes are causing some weird things to happen. So we'll see how these changes affect that as well. The second change, increase the strength of Navy's anti-piracy by a large amount. Again, I don't know why they don't just tell us how much it's been increased by. I guess a large amount is a good amount. If you've been playing the game on any of the recent patches, you'll know that the anti-piracy changes they made recently really caused piracy to get out of control, and no matter how big your navy was, you really struggled to reduce it. It looks like this is going to be a fix for that, so that is good to see. The other changes under gameplay is military. Rebalanced how good levies are with a decent progression throughout the ages. This is something that was covered in yesterday's video, so again, we won't discuss it much here. This is just balancing out how levies work in the early game and then making them progressively worse as the game progresses, but also allowing some bonuses that weren't working to actually be applied to your levies, so you aren't going to be steamrolled by regulars as much as you're seeing currently if you are playing on one of the recent patches. So hopefully you should see your armies perform that little bit better, at least early to mid game. Obviously late game, obviously as you go through the game itself, you will want to pick up as many regular units as you can. That means getting professional armies, armorers, all these different things to try and get your regular army as big as you can, because levies are intended to get worse and worse as the game progresses, because that is generally what happened historically. The next change is under content changes, again the military, and for this they've added late game levies for nobles, late cavaliers, provincial cavalry, and the French one I can't pronounce ever. So this is going to make your noble levies that little bit better as the game does progress, but again, your levies aren't supposed to be that good later on, but this will make them a little bit better, especially in the later eras of the game. And then the last section of changes, as I said, a very quick patch today, is under miscellaneous changes. Fix a crash related to calculating the efficiency of cabinet actions, so making sure, coupled with the next one, that you won't see as many crashes in the game, hopefully. The second one is fix the crash when calculating the impact of good demand on a market, so how the economy side of things is being calculated. Hopefully we'll see less crashes related to that as well. And with that, folks, that is the end of the patch notes for today. As I said, a very quick patch. Hopefully this one is a little bit more stable, and it does work well. Let me know in the comments, as I said, if you do see that being the case. They do say, as we found out yesterday, we are getting patch 1.0.8 next week, and that is going to include the following improvements. Again, most of these were covered in yesterday's dev diary. So improved combat tooltips, making sure you can see in the UI the information you need, so you know if a battle is going to go one way or another, or at least have the information so you have a better idea about how this battle has gone and how it might go in the future. The second change is significant adjustments to how the economy base works for countries. Again, that was covered yesterday. And then the final change is rebalancing centralization versus decentralization societal values, hopefully making, as they say here, it be a lot less one-sided. Everyone goes centralized because decentralized is basically pointless. So they're going to make some changes around that. As they said yesterday, making it so your subject loyalty is tied more to the societal value, which does make more sense, to be honest. So it's going to be interesting next week to see what these changes are. And with that, that's the end of the news for today. One thing I did want to talk about, I have seen this elsewhere. I did see it in the comments to yesterday's video as well, and I wanted to talk about this in the video today. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. There's been suggestions that maybe we could have for this game like a stable build of the game, and then these weekly patches, which, as I was saying yesterday in that video, make the game very unstable, or as I said yesterday, like less confidence in the game working correctly when I sit down to play the game. Would people be interested if they had this stable branch of the game, and then you had like a test version of the game as well? And if you signed up for that, if you opted into it, you would get these weekly patches, and then maybe the stable version of the game, that got them all rolled into like a monthly patch. And then at the end of the month, all those fixes in those weekly patches got rolled into the base game, after they've been kind of tested by everybody else. And then if you wanted this more stable experience, if you wanted to just do a campaign, not worry about it, not worry about these weekly patches where pretty major changes are happening relatively quickly, as I said yesterday, probably quicker than I think they should be happening, you could then log in, play the stable version, and if you wanted to try like the test version, you would accept these quicker changes, maybe things that don't ultimately work correctly, and then as they fix those every week, made further changes, you would see those, see if they work well, and then as I said, at the end of the month, maybe that month of changes will get fed back into the main version, and then everyone on that version kind of like gets the benefit of everyone else trying the other version. Let me know what you think about that. I think that might work quite well. I know it is a lot more work for the studio, so I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, there's 2 different versions and players can easily switch between them. It is a lot of work for them to do that. So I see why maybe they wouldn't do this, but I think it would be pretty useful, maybe at least for the first 6 months of the game, as they keep making these pretty sizable changes every week, to let players have a more stable version of the game, where you could just log in, play the game, not worry about these weekly patches, and then have like a stable campaign to play through. So as I said, let me know in the comments down below what you think about the news today, and then also what do you think about that idea as well. I have seen quite a few people mention it, like I say, on the forums, on Reddit, and in the comments to my videos as well. So I just wondered what people thought about it. But we'll leave it there for today. As I said at the beginning, do hit the like button if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm slowly working up to 10,000 subscribers. So if you do enjoy my content, I would appreciate it if you did subscribe to the channel. It helps other people find my channel in the future as well. But we'll leave it there for today, and I'll see you all next time.